everybody, and welcome to Hold Up, the show where we dive deep inside your childhood nostalgia, pull the movies from your past out to see if they hold up. I'm Chase. I'm with Andrew and Kyle, I think on the Kirkland Signature Series hotline today. How are you guys doing?
Do you think that we're on the Kirkland Signature hotline, or do you know that we're on the Kirkland Signature hotline?
I have yet to see a check, so until we see that check, it'll always be probable.
I had a long conversation with the board last week. Money's coming. They just want to see more dividends, more fruits from our side.
Oh, gotcha. Well, in that case, while you're talking, I was drinking from my Kirkland Signature Series coconut water, which is keeping me hydrated and my voice well equipped to do these episodes.
That's great. I've got Kirkland Signature air-chilled chicken breast thawing back in the kitchen, full of nutrients, low fat, high in protein, and a great price.
Right, and there's no hormones injected in those either. Those are free range babies.
No, honestly though, if you can get air chilled chicken from Costco, like that's the best fucking thing that you can get. Like that's better than most shit you'll get from like Purdue or Tyson or whatever. So get the Costco brand. It's much better for you.
Kyle, I got good news today. You want to hear the good news?
Let's go.
This episode is airing a day before our birthday. We'll be 2 years old. How do you feel about that?
It's cool.
Great.
I got a question for you. Does this apply to me as well? You had said, Kyle, I have some news. I don't know if you left me out on purpose there, or if that was...
Well, you don't really count, or you're not really a person. Chase and I don't... We've talked about this a lot, Chase. We don't really see you as like a person who deserves rights, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Chase can get into it a little bit more
if
he wants to, but...
So if I hung up here or muted my mic, that wouldn't make much of a difference in the product it's putting out, correct?
You do have some fans.
No.
Your mom does listen to this show a lot, and she sends me all kinds of mail. Yes.
Don't complain. Like, we need you. You just don't matter. It's very much like slavery in the South.
I was going to say, like indentured servants.
We definitely need you. And Chase and I would go to war over you. But then be mad if you gained equality in this relationship.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about my standing with y'all.
Yeah, you won't. If we do get
adventure,
no. It's an adventure for us. It's more like a harrowing journey for you. But if we were to ever get any monetary value that, you wouldn't see it, but you might be able to gain access to we might throw you some, I don't know, like a good meal every once in a while. Like, I don't know, Chase. What do you think he deserves?
Maybe a cot. I
think a cot. I think a cot will work.
A cot and a tent.
If there was ever like a credit scene or a place to put my name for recognition or crediting, would you do that, or is that one of those where I'm invisible and it doesn't matter?
You already got credit on IMDb for this. We all got credited for this, so yeah, you're already, you've gotten more than you deserve.
Okay, cool.
So, but anyway, speaking of getting what you deserve, Kyle, we watched Zoolander, and I want you to tell me a little bit about your energy levels today using modeling terms.
Oh. Well, today's one of those days where it's show day, and you have your runway walk. So you're feeling good. It's like the third quick change in a row. And you're walking out into the space. Lights are all on you. You're walking down the runway. Before all this had happened, you took a couple of muscle relaxants because you get really, really nervous sometimes. So the muscle relaxants have kicked in. You're feeling nice and good. And you're walking down the runway. You turn around and there's a gasp in the audience. And you don't understand what's going on. You're locked in. You walk off stage. You do another quick change and you walk out. And then you see a trail of shit, like diarrhea, on the floor where you had just been walking. And you look around when you're doing another turn, and everybody's laughing at you and mocking you. And you see the shit on yourself. And you think, oh my God, how could this day get any worse? When then all of a sudden you hear, hey, got a gun. And then there's like a terrorist incident that happens, and then you're held hostage, and you have to sit in your shit pants for God knows how many hours until you're, and it's not a real gun, by the way, it's a wooden gun, but nobody really knows and there's no security there. So you've kind of just wasted your whole day in shit pants. And then also you're fired after that because you took drugs that you weren't supposed to take.
Okay.
One of these days, I want Kyle to exude a positive energy. I don't think I've ever heard one.
What are you
in our
talking
2
about?
years.
That was pretty positive.
That we're kind of looking up with that. Like,
Yeah.
Getting fired from your livelihood for using illicit drugs while potentially surviving a terrorist attack doesn't exactly sound positive.
The
to me.
optimism
But then
part is
again,
he survived the terrorist attack, Andrew. He could have died.
You're looking at this from the perspective of an indentured servant. If you were a free man, which I assume Kyle is, that doesn't sound ideal. Just food for thought.
Well, you assume a lot. I don't know if I call myself free. We do live in the United States, so
Great.
I'm free in the
USA,
sense of I'm free
USA.
to choose what I want to buy, and but the options that are presented to me, I don't get to choose. So.
Well, I also think Kyle just gave away the plot line to Zoolander 3, if there was such a thing. I think that's what's coming. But let's get back on track here. We've lost like 20% of our audience. But anyway, so we watched Zoolander. This is a big one from our childhood. Everyone saw this. Let's start with you, Andrew. What do you remember about Zoolander as a kid? This was what, 2001 release date, right?
I have to be honest here. This was the first time I've ever watched Zoolander.
No way.
Yes, I swear to God.
Lie.
And, I have a pea brain, but I'm pretty sure in my mind I subconsciously mixed it up with Starsky and Hutch. And because I wasn't too far off.
That is a good one. Same team.
Yes. Same buddies. This is the first time I ever watched Zoolander from start to finish.
Okay, that's going to be fun seeing it from someone who's never seen it before. But
for sure.
Kyle, what about you? I know you remember this. Come on, we've quoted this to each other before.
Yeah, this is one that would always be on like Comedy Central or some weird like USA weird time show showing. And I remember it as a kid being like silly, but like I don't think I laughed at it as a child. I just thought it was something funny because I like Ben Stiller because of Meet the Parents. That was like around the same time too, and he was amazing in Meet the Parents. That was a family favorite. And Starsky and Hutch was also a family favorite. Very, very fun movie.
Along Came Polly.
Along Came Polly is a great one.
Yep.
This is like during Ben Stiller's heyday. But it's also very, I don't know. It's very clearly like a young adult movie that you can watch it as a kid and still like get something out of it. But like watching it as an adult, I thought it was much more funny as an adult.
Yeah.
Especially the Will Ferrell moments in it were also very, very fun. And some of the Ben Stiller lines and just how crude they are with like their put downs of the fast food industry and the people in it, I thought was also pretty funny. I didn't do any of that when I was a kid because I hadn't made my way through the performing arts world and seen some of these people and interacted with the just sheer amount, the dearth of nimbuses and doofuses in our area that I'm sure Andrew and Chase also can kind of attest to. Like just a lot of fucking dumbasses, a lot of idiots.
If you work out into the film, fashion, or art world for long enough, you're gonna get the pea brain, self-embodied human being coming across your like radar at some point and pissing you off.
Yeah, and then it's also fun because they're oftentimes the ones that are directing you or casting you. But yeah, it was an interesting rewatch, and I think not to spoil anything, but I think I might have enjoyed it more as an adult.
Yeah. I was going to say, I remember when this movie came out, because it came out in 2001, and I would have been 10 years old, but I don't think I started watching it until I was like 13, 14, when it was like coming on Comedy Central, like you said. And it was a very popular, quotable movie for young teens. Like, we quoted this shit everywhere. My dad quoted it around the house. He loved this movie. And it kind of came out around the same time as Joe Dirt. And I feel like my dad watched those two movies and just laughed out of his chair at both of those.
I want to say, I think one of the reasons that I thought I had seen is because I quoted it. Like I hadn't seen this, but I know some of the famous quotes and taglines
Yeah.
from this movie just because it's so accessible. Like
Right.
there's so many.
It's very,
I don't
it's
know
a
if
very
there's many
omnipresent movie.
memes, but there's a lot of gifs that came from this that are used frequently, even in today's culture.
What's one of the quotes you remember most, or what was one of the
I mean,
quotes you used the most?
Am I taking crazy pills?
that one, but also just Derek Zoolander School for Kids Who Can't Read Very Well and do like I knew that. Like I knew that line. I don't know. I guess
Did you
I've
know?
probably seen scenes, but what did you say?
Did you know that John Voight couldn't get through that scene? He had to leave the building because he was laughing hysterically when Zoolander was talking
That's
about
awesome.
that.
That makes me so happy because he acts that part pretty well, and
He does.
it makes you believe that he truly fucking hates his son.
He's a great actor. There's a lot of good actors in this movie and a lot of cameos. But yeah,
Jerry Stiller. We're gonna get to that.
Oh.
But Jerry fucking Stiller, legend.
So funny.
So and
Somebody
so
legend
funny.
right there.
and I remember the one of the biggest quotes was like, "What is this? A center for ants?" And like I remember
Yes.
we used to say that all the time over
All the time.
anything.
That was a big one.
That
When am I taking crazy pills? I'm a great googly liver. I
Yeah.
am an ambiturner. Like those are all classics.
in a freak gasoline fight accident. I remember we used to use my friend group used to say that one a lot. There's a lot of quotable lines in this. And one of the biggest things going into this movie that I was thinking about was like, are they going to live up as an adult? Because I remember quoting them as a kid. And we've seen before on this show, we have movies that we quote a lot as kids and then we get to be an adult and they're just not funny anymore. So that's going to be the real test when we get to the end of this episode is seeing, hey, is it still funny? And is it funny as an adult? Like to Kyle's point, it's made for that teenager, early adult crowd because I think it still hits in college at that time. Then one's a different form of humor, a different time. This is a very SNL driven movie. This is like
Yes,
a
it
big
is.
SNL skit.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, that's where it came from. Not necessarily SNL, but this whole movie idea came from Ben Stiller doing an improv character of a male model at Fashion Week. And he played an early form of Zoolander. And the crowd at Fashion Week loved it so much and laughed at it that they ended up writing a movie. And Ben Stiller directed this movie. He almost didn't, but he directed it.
I wonder, do you know if this was his first movie he directed?
I don't
think it.
I didn't have the
bet
facts.
It isn't, but I bet it's one of his first.
Yes.
Because now that's what he specializes in is producing and directing as opposed to
Yeah.
starring. But I feel like this was like the birth of like his directorial career. I think he's a great director. I think he's a
Oh, he's very
phenomenal.
good. I mean,
he's
look
a
no
phenomenal
further
mind for
than
this stuff.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
But I
like the litmus test. If he didn't do this, you'd have no Tropic Thunder. There's a lot of the same themes, and he also plays the same character. He plays this character in Dodgeball. He plays this character in whatchamacallit in Tropic Thunder. Like it's a very big Ben Stiller theme to play the idiot. Like
It's
whether
ju-
that
it's
be
just-
the
that was his tagline, but it's just wild to see his transformation over the years because now he's the brainchild behind Severance, like which I think is one of the best television shows of the past 15 years. Like,
so
I mean,
and I will say this.
He's gone way beyond what he was then. Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and my sister-in-law is a talented animator, and she got to work with Ben Stiller at one point. So she got to work one-on-one with them. What I find fascinating of her telling me this, and she talked highly about him. Katie, she listens avidly, so this is a big shout out to Katie. One day you'll be on the show. But she was talking about him being like, you see him in these roles, and he's very silly, very funny, but out of those characters, he's very serious. And he's very keen on what he wants. And it kind of reminds you that these are just actors playing a character, and they're different from their characters outside. Although Will Ferrell, who's in this movie, and this was peak Will Ferrell SNL era, it seems to just be that person at all times. It doesn't seem like Will Ferrell ever takes anything seriously, and we love him for that. But other than that, I don't think we have that much more nostalgia to go through. This was kind of a movie that became a pop culture icon and then left. Like I said, it was in films. There wasn't very many of those other than documentaries. It kind of spurred on from Ben Stiller playing that character, and away they went. He worked exclusively with Owen Wilson to create the Hansel character, and they worked through different versions of that. But we got to talk about one thing that just repeatedly ends up on the show. We are in that nostalgia area. It came out in 2001, right? We all know what happened in 2001. So
Y2K?
yeah, basically. A lot of fashion happens in New York City. So a lot of the
I had no idea.
the marketing material for this film was in New York City. So they did a lot of post and pre-production. Obviously, this film was made in 2000, preparing for a 2001 release. In the movie, they showed the Twin Towers a lot, but you don't see it in the movie because they went back and digitally removed them. So one of the first movies to do that. There's also we'll get to this scene when we do the blow by blow, but we talked about the gasoline fight. Almost didn't make the cut. There was a lot of.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there was a lot of outrage. A lot of people were really sensitive at the time about explosions and things like that. And
if that, we'll get to it, but if that wasn't in the movie, I don't want to say it would drastically change my opinion on
It's
it.
just such a funny, pivotal part of the movie that it really informs a lot of the characters that we're talking about.
And just the absurdity, just the fucking absolute absurdity of it all. So
yeah, again, people were just really heightened and really sensitive, so they almost cut it from the film. But they stuck.
So what you're saying is there's a lot of soft bitches in this world.
I did not
correct?
say that.
Is that what you're saying?
I did not say that.
That's what you said. That's what you implied. Yeah.
Anyway,
you don't have to say it explicitly,
but yeah, so it almost didn't make it. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff here. Obviously, they're making fun of the modeling world. They're making fun of individuals who take their looks and their personality too seriously, and there's also some espionage tongue-in-cheek moments in here too, which we'll get to. But before we get into all that, Andrew, I've got to ask, was this movie a success?
So, had a nice little budget of around 28 million. Domestic opening was 15.5 million off the bat. So, yeah, I think you can, assume that with that opening, it was going to be a success, which it was. Domestic altogether was 45 million, some change. International, almost 17 million for like a cool 61 million altogether. So, yeah, it doubled its budget.
28 million's pretty low, too, because they have a lot of cameos and a lot of people in this movie.
They got a lot, from Fred Durst to, God.
A lot of weird cameos.
Random. Lance Bass of NSYNC.
Donald Trump.
David Bowie.
Yeah. Donald Trump, yeah.
It just
we're going to have to talk about it eventually, but,
Yeah.
I was going to say 28 million. I actually thought that was going to be a bit high for just this structure, but it made it back and then some. So
yeah, and they filmed it in New York too, so that usually like inflates a budget pretty quickly. So they with the cast of Will Ferrell was really hot at the time, Ben Stiller was really hot, Owen Wilson was also, like, they were everywhere. So that and then Ben Stiller hired his wife probably at a discount.
And his father.
And his father's in every movie he's in. I think that's just a package deal. But his father always outshines him. It's crazy.
He does. I said it before, but Jerry Stiller is a fucking legend. My God. All right. I loved him in Seinfeld. I've loved him in every single role he's ever played. But
maybe we need to get to heavyweights at some point on this show, where like an early Ben Stiller movie with Jerry Stiller in it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's such a treasure, man. What a great comedic act he was. He was always so funny.
He was literally a performer in vaudeville. Like, he was a vaudeville circuit act performer, and then he made his way to some comedy icon in Hollywood. I just think that's really cool and special, because not everyone can say that their career spanned that many wavelengths. But here we are talking about the man who did it himself. So
sweet. Yeah. So let's talk about the blow by blow. Let's just dive into it.
Let's fucking get it.
Andrew, do you want to do the honors of starting us off this week?
We open with Mugatu, Will Ferrell, talking to some invisible council. It makes it seem like this is some, like, Bond villain panel of people who hold the strings, and essentially it's relayed
What's
to us.
is it Spectre, Kyle? That's the organization in
Yes,
Bond.
yes,
Did you
that's
get
exactly what I thought.
did you get Spectre vibes, Kyle, when you
Yeah,
watched some of this?
for sure.
They they
Yeah,
they
that's
really
exactly what they're going for.
led into Bond, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But yeah, continue,
Yeah,
Andrew.
we're introduced to this panel, and they're lamenting the fact that Malaysia has elected this new president or prime minister who promises to end child labor and hike wages, which is a no-go for the fashion industry because a lot of their garments and cloths and other things are made from child factories in Malaysia at cheap costs. And
Which
they can't let this happen.
I thought that this like tying this in, like they might not have meant it, but like super applicable to nowadays. And this is before Citizens United ever happened or was even an inkling. But like back when there was actual not money in politics. But this is totally a thing going on right now. And they're not even trying to hide it either. Like special interests trying to like take control of large swaths of like industry or tech giants or monopolies in the media industry. Like this is like they're gonna do whatever they can to make sure that they can do whatever they want to do. And they're not even trying to hide it like in this anymore, which I thought was kind of funny that they're trying like being so secretive about it now. And nowadays it's just like right out there for everybody to see it. Like it's very I don't think they meant it, but it still like adds a layer to it that I kind of appreciated. And there's another part later that is fucking hilarious with Will Ferrell brainwashing Ben Stiller that kind of comes into this play as well.
And I do think that they meant because they were poking fun at the fashion industry a lot in this, and they were bringing up a lot of political stuff, throughout this entire movie, and it was kind of well played. I thought it was very smart, and it's stuff that, like, to Kyle's point, that we see all the time now, and I found this joke funny. So I don't know, Andrew, Kyle, I don't know if you picked up on this, but they mention the prime minister's name, but they never call him by his name. They just say the prime minister of Malaysia.
No, the Eurasian prime minister guy.
Yeah, and
We'll get to the
From
we'll get to the
Micronesia.
end. Mike, when what's his name, Owen Wilson or Hansel, like calls him like the worst shit possible, just completely jumbles his name. Micronesia was one, but he also said like Polytechnica or something.
the Polytechnica micromanager guy.
Micronesia. It's no Micronesia.
But that's
When he
pretty
thought
much
that
the
was
entire plot to this movie. They drop it on you in the first 30 seconds.
Immediately. And the rest is just exposition. The
You're
rest
right.
is just leading up to that denouement, that moment.
Mugatu is this powerful fashionista, and he's looking for a brain dead model to basically go MK Ultra mode and brainwash him into killing the prime minister of Malaysia, so that they
To
can
save the fashion industry.
so that
to
they
save
can
their
keep
money.
their slave workers and their sweatshops alive. That's the movie, and everything else we're just riding along. And then they're like, and Mugatu's like, "Who could we find that is that pig-headed?" And then it just cuts to Derek Zoolander, and then we see Derek Zoolander, which is Ben Stiller's character, and he's being interviewed by who, Kyle?
his wife, who is in real life, but a
Christine Taylor.
reporter, and yeah, but a reporter who is trying to report on the fashion industry and report on him and his new look that he's trying to make, which he goes through a number of them. He discerns them one by one. It's Blue Steel, La Tigra. What was the other one?
Those are the two that I remember. He
Yeah.
was working on the Magnum, but that he hasn't gotten there yet.
He's still
No,
a
he
work in
hasn't.
progress, and all
He's
the
still
looks
working
are
on
the
it. He's
same.
still working on it.
All the
Which I
looks.
think is just hilarious. And like that's the only thing that he has like creatively to work on is like what look it is like just so
And they're all the
fucking
same
dumb.
look. Like
they're all the same exact thing.
and she's writing a puff piece for Time, and she's actually, he doesn't know it yet, but she's just writing this scathing article on the fashion industry, and he's too dumb to realize that she's asking pretty hard-hitting questions. But
For sure.
and he's getting ready to go to the fashion awards. And they upscale this shit like it's the Grammys. Like there's people everywhere, red carpet. And they're like, oh, Derek Zoolander's going to win his 4th straight Male Model of the Year award, but he's going up against newcomer Hansel. And Hansel, it's Owen Wilson's character, and he's very much the opposite of Derek Zoolander. He's kind of like, whatever. He's very hippie-ish. I like
Super hippie.
Yeah.
hippie, but like kind of cool without trying. I always thought it was funny.
Like,
He's always
like an industry outsider or something.
Yeah,
He's
like
very
somebody
much
that
like
wouldn't
the
be-
success story.
and he's always playing with a yo-yo. He's got a
God.
He's got a scooter and a like boomstick like hatch on his back that he pulls
Scooter,
out.
mind you, a razor scooter, one that'll fucking tear your shins up. One of those. It's got like a flame decal on the bottom. It looks- decal. It's a flame decal, like Guy Fieri flame on the bottom of the board. Just absolutely, just absurd. Just fucking dumb as shit.
And he's
But-
and everybody in this movie, they're just wearing the most absurd looks. We don't have time to go through them all. They're just like, a lot of it's just a lot of leather, skin tight leather.
It's just the fucking
Chase-
fashion industry. Like the fashion
it's
industry in general
vain and
just fucking
stupid
sucks.
and yeah. Chase, you had mentioned that Ben Stiller worked specifically with Owen Wilson on his Hansel character. Do you think there was ever a character that they created or like a version of the character that he was like Eastern European or like German of some sort?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't try that route.
I wish I could have seen some outtakes or just some like behind the scenes footage of Owen Wilson trying to do a German dialect.
Which Owen Wilson's not very good at other dialects. I think he always kind of plays the same character.
He's
So,
not.
but and then we get a cut piece now where we get all the celebrities talking about how much they love Derek Zoolander, and I do love like the mini like little like nods they give, like Natalie Portman talking about him being too good looking, so she can't date him because he's too attractive. There's a lot of good like one liners, like Cuba Gooding Jr. in there talking about how.
Gooding Jr. God damn.
So
Big at that time though.
Yeah, it's
So,
the
you know.
most 2000s group of celebrities you'll ever see. Like
But
Andrew,
it's funny because a couple of them are registered sex offenders now or have been convicted of sex crimes. Cuba Gooding Jr., Donald Trump.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And Fred Durst got like, didn't he run into trouble in
That's
Russia
right.
and stuff? Yeah,
I
like,
think so.
and so we've got some characters here, but or at least our main cast, as for what we know, is pretty scot free at this point. Well, to be continued, I guess, down the road. But and they end up in the award ceremony. It's huge. It's massive. This is almost like the World Cup, which is going on now. It feels like it, and the vibrant and the energy that they're creating. And they're obviously making this up. No one would ever give a fuck about like the fashion awards. But Lenny Kravitz is presenting the Male Model of the Year award.
Yes, but not before they give a Lifetime Achievement Award to
Dude, Fabio.
Fabio.
They give him a
for
slashy.
being
They call
It's
it.
like best-
for like
Best
being
model
best-
slash actor.
no the actor slash model or model slash actor. He's like, I want to thank you for giving me this award, and I am in my words or something. He says it's like, I am actor first, model second, and I just thought that was fucking funny.
What was
It
so
was
what
terrible.
was so funny is then fucking gets roasted by Lenny Kravitz as he walks off stage. He's like, "These are no slashies, people. This is the real deal." So he just like completely give him this award just to tear it down in front of everybody. And then they introduce the two characters, and they show a little vignette of both. They show a vignette of Hansel, and he's just like, "Yeah, I never really cared about my looks. I just always cared about what bark's made of." And
He's like, those aren't the things that really concerned me when I was a child. It's like, what's like, I want to know like what bark is made out of on a tree. Or it sounds like, yeah, it's great. That's fucking hilarious.
And then Zoolander, when he gets introduced, it's just like he shows up like the fall calendar was my favorite thing I did because it showed my versatility. And it's just him showing the same fucking look
Yeah.
through every
And
month.
he's like, doesn't he say something about like one? He's like, yeah, I pretty much only use this one for foot modeling. It's a subtler look. It's like you wouldn't see that with your foot modeling. It's so fucking funny.
And then
So good.
and then he says something. He's like, I try to remember what model means in Greek. It means little ball of clay, and I think about that
Yeah.
every time I put on a look. And it's like, I mean, they're delivering these lines just like they just.
So good.
I'm like laughing my ass off, and so it's a good start to the movie. It's pretty quick and snappy too, because there's not a
It is.
lot of plot in this film, but they move everything along so quickly that you don't really.
It's only
sit
an
there.
hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
very
it's a short film. Get to the point.
But Andrew,
Yeah,
who
but-
wins the male model of the year? Is it Zoolander? Is it our hero? Who wins?
It's not Zoolander. It's Hansel. Who wins?
So hot
He
right
gets
now.
Yeah, who thinks he wins though?
Zoolander, Derek, before it's like even like announced, he just starts like walking up to the podium, down the theater stairs, and gets up on stage, takes the trophy from Lenny, and is like, "Oh yeah, okay, all right. First off, I want to, and Lenny Kravitz is looking at him like, "Dude, you didn't
Pulls him
fucking
aside,
win."
in his ear.
Yeah.
I want to kind of dial it back too, because I do remember a quote that I wrote down. Do you guys remember Hansel and his vignette talking about Sting? He's like, I don't really listen to his
Oh,
music,
yeah,
but I
his music.
respect him.
This is making
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's great.
But so so Zoolander loses his award, and then we cut to him kind of walking the streets of New York, all sad. He's seeing Hansel getting put up in Times Square as the male model of the year. It's getting announced everywhere. People are kind of laughing at him too. There was E News showing him like it says loser tries to steal award.
Yep.
So there.
And then he goes to the after party, and I think that's when the Time magazine that Christine Taylor's character wrote, the title of the article is introduced to him. I don't remember what the title was.
It was
the article just makes him.
No, it's he gets that a little later, because I want to introduce that when we get, because it's going to be in the gas fight scene. But he's walking away.
That's right.
And he's walking away. And he gets back to his loft where he is apparently staying with the other models that are all represented by Jerry Stiller, and they're called Balls models.
Because it's Maury Ballstein, Jerry Stiller's character.
Perfect name for him. But
How many times did Maury talk about his oversized prostate in this movie?
It's so funny though. It hits every time though.
I got a prostate the size of a melon. I can't even get a dropout.
He just my prostate. I've got a flare up in my prostate. Listen, he goes, just a little pee-pee. Just a little pee.
It's like,
so funny.
and he's always doing it on the phone while he's talking to somebody.
Like, come on, just a little pee.
A little pee-pee. And then Ben Stiller goes back to his loft, and while he's leaving, Mugatu went to Maury Ballstein, and he was like, he's perfect, Maury, and you know it. And so that's the seed. Now we know who Mugatu's going to target to be the rogue model to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. So they get to a point where he goes back to his loft with all the other Balls models, and what's so funny is there's a sign up that says congratulations on 4 years in a row, and they mark out 4 and put 3, but congratulations is so fucked up in its spelling, I couldn't even tell you what it said. There was like a 3
so
in
good.
there, like just because they're all
They're
so
all
stupid.
illiterate models.
But Ben Stiller wakes up the next day, and he's just kind of depressed, and these models around him are just kind of talking, and they're just all being really stupid. Like Earth to Minkus, I knew what you were talking about.
Me, Earth, the name Mikas, but isn't this where Alexander Skarsgård is?
Do you all
in here?
remember?
So,
Do you remember their names? I wrote their names down in case anyone forgot.
I just
But
remember
you got
Mikas.
There's Mikas. There's Brent, Brint, and
Ew.
Rufus. Brent, Mikas, and Rufus. Like what a trio. What a disgusting group of idiots.
disgusting.
And they're completely dumb.
Dumb as shit.
But they're kind of arguing, and Ben Stiller's like, look, guys, do you not ever think that there's more to life than just being really, 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 really super good looking? They're confused by this, like, this prophecy that he has. And he's like, you know what'll cheer you up? And then they go out and get lattes. Just like
orange mocha frappuccino latte.
Dinos! And that's the famous image where Stiller or Zoolander's in his blue pajamas, and he makes that, "Aw, shucks" face. You know it. We all know it. It's been used countless times over the years. And then the Wake Me Up Before You Go starts playing, and it's just
Yep.
It's them.
It's perfect.
It's them frolicking around town, and then we get to the
In a Jeep.
iconic scene where they get to the
No,
guest.
I don't think it's a Jeep. I think it's an old Bronco.
Is it a Bronco? It's some sort of
I think so.
open SUV.
Open
It's
top
like
SUV
yeah,
from like the
yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure it's a Bronco, and they're all just like having fun, like there are no cameras on them at all, and they're modeling. But what are
Yeah.
they doing to model themselves to make themselves look more
They're
dynamic?
throwing the water from like the windshield cleaner.
Wiper bucket.
Yeah, like so it's offered at gas stations. So they start throwing the water at each other and having this water fight, and they're all like laughing. And while they're doing that, someone pulls out the gas hose and starts like spraying them.
Dousing.
Yeah,
The whole time it's just like the camera's going back and forth between him and the friends, and he's just kind of like looking at them like, you guys, like
and this is where and this is where he gets over and he goes over to the trash can because he sees himself in the trash can and picks up the Time magazine article and he looks at it and he goes, it says Derek Zoolander, a model idiot. But he reads it differently. He reads it as a model idiot.
Idiot.
He's a model idiot.
And then he looks back and they're still playing with the gas. And I think it's like
and mind you, they're just like frolicking and giggling and laughing as they're playfully dousing each other with gasoline. And I think at this point he looks over and one of the three is like lighting a cigarette.
Yeah, he's lighting a cigarette covered in gas.
Yes. And immediately, as soon as he lights it, it's just they all die.
Big explosion. And then it just cuts to the next day. They're at their funeral, and he's doing the eulogy, which he calls it a you-googly.
You-googly.
I'm
a great you-googly giver.
So he's talking about them, and he's like, it's sad that you die in a tragic gasoline fight accident. And so Hansel and Mugatu show up. He uses that as the opportunity to announce his retirement from male modeling. And every cast of characters there, the girl from the Time magazine who is trying to get the info on, the Malaysia incident and all the slave labor and all that stuff. And Hansel shows up and kind of disrupts everybody because he's playing loud music as he shows up. And Mugatu, every time Hansel shows up, it's always funny. Will Ferrell goes, "Hansel's so hot right now." And he says that in the middle of the fucking funeral.
He Hansel is so hot right now. Hansel.
I will say Will Ferrell absolutely nails this movie. He is so fucking good.
Well.
It's vintage
So
Will Ferrell. It's
is.
an amalgamation of so many of his characters. Ones that just yell and don't fucking listen to anyone around them and just kind of hog every scene that he's a part of. But you don't think much on it because you laugh. You laugh and you respect it. It's not a oh, look at me, and then falls flat. It's an oh, look at me, look at me, I'm fucking amazing. And that's just Will Ferrell the entire fucking movie. The entire time.
And that's when Ben Stiller at the funeral tells everybody he's going to go build the Derek Zoolander for kids who can't read good.
And want to do other things good too.
Yeah. He walks away, and I think we get the next scene where Mugatu is working on his next project. And there's a quote here that I used to use a lot when I was a kid, and it's where he pokes this girl with a pen, and she goes, "Ow!" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did my pen get in the way of your ass? Please lose 15 pounds immediately, or get out of my building."
It's so good.
And so Mari calls him and tells him, "Hey, Derek retired," and Will Ferrell's like, "That's not going to work, Ballstein. We got to get him in line so we can do blah, 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 blah." And they're having this chat. And this is where, and I apologize, everybody, but this is the quote. He says, yeah, he's going to go train unprivileged retards somewhere.
Good shit.
So early 2000s.
That's an early 2000s quote. We will apologize there, but we have to use that quote because that is what is said in this movie.
It's vintage.
Vintage Jerry Stiller there. But, and
Chase, isn't this now where Derek goes back to his hometown, which is like a mining community.
Looks like West Virginia. Yeah, like
yeah. So I think he said Southern New Jersey. I'm pretty sure it was Southern New Jersey.
this was
is what
not
they said.
Southern New Jersey.
That's what they said. That is what they said. But there aren't coal mines in
No,
Southern New
this
Jersey.
is West Virginia.
This is West Virginia or southwestern Pennsylvania on the border of West Virginia. He goes back to his hometown and he tries to reintroduce himself, be reaccepted by his father and his brothers, which one is played by the great Vince Vaughn,
who
I
has
don't think says a single
he doesn't
word.
have a line of dialogue. This was his cameo in this movie, and his dad played by the great John Voight.
John Voight.
Great. And then before he left, too, we got to make mention that he met with Ballstein, and Ballstein was like, hey, Mugatu wants you for his campaign. He's like, Mugatu's never worked with me before. And he's like, well, you know, now he wants to work with you. And he sees great work in you. And he's like, oh, I'm retired, and he's leaving. And that's when Ballstein has their conversation. But now flashing forward, what happens when he gets to his hometown? He shows up with all kinds of, like, baggage and shit, like, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, he shows up at some like mine excavation site, and they're decked out in like their coveralls, and they got soot on their face, and you can tell they want to just end their lives essentially. And he shows up in some like one piece, shiny, metallic type outfit with giant sunglasses. Like, hey, father, it's me. And they turn around, and this is where you get to see his father and brothers for the first time. They all have the same hair, but they look out the horizon like, who the fuck is this? Who the hell is this fruitcake?
John Voight plays this perfectly because he just looks over, and once he realizes who it is, he just rolls this shit out of his eyes.
Yeah.
But he wants to go work in the mines. He wants to be he wants to be a blue collar worker.
He's trying to discover his roots. He's trying to discover his real identity, something beyond the vain superficiality of his modeling career.
And what has to be something more than just being really, really, really good looking.
Good looking, yeah.
What happens when he gets in the mines, Kyle? I know you remember this scene.
He gets into the mines and he's like trying to work with them, but like it winds up being like a model shoot, and he has like he like tears down into like a tank top.
Wife beater. Like, he's got a wife beater on.
It's a wife beater tank top, and he just starts doing ridiculous poses and alienating himself from his family. And they fucking hate him. And they get done with the workday, and they're at the bar, and he goes.
So Kyle, I gotta say, in that montage, they have the song "Everybody's Working for the Weekends" playing, and it's fucking perfect. It just slaps. It hits. I don't know. It gave me chills listening to that song with the montage of shots.
This soundtrack is perfect. The soundtrack that they used here, all the moments hit, and the music works with the scenes to make it funnier. Like "Wake Me Up Before You Go" and the explosion.
Oh. And then the moments in that scene in the mine where he picks up the pickaxe and like flexes his muscles and throws it over the shoulder, and it goes flying like 10, 15 feet, and it hits some dude in the background. I cackled. And again, that's another like really popular meme. That moment right there. I don't know what it's used for, but I've seen it 1,000 times. So still culturally relevant. But anyways, you were saying, Kyle, they're onto the bar now.
Yeah. They go to the bar. They go to the bar, and they're all like working men. They just want to drink real quick and watch some TV and maybe play some pool. And he tags along with them, and he's like trying to make conversation. And he goes,
"Who's winning the match?"
Yeah.
It's a football game.
Yeah, it's a football game. And then and all of a sudden he goes, I think I got the black lung, Pop.
Oh, God.
He was like, damn it, Derek, you've only been down there one day. We've been down there for 37 years.
Try 13 years. Like, it's so good. I would have loved to have been on set when he just, like, pulled that out of his ass and was just, like, everybody trying to keep a straight face.
Chase, you said that Voight couldn't handle himself. Like, he could not keep a straight face.
When Ben Stiller kept referring to this center of kids who can't read good, John Voight had to personally, like, leave the set for a second because he could not stop laughing.
So good.
But anyway, while they're at the bar, a commercial comes on during the football game. And what's that commercial, Kyle?
It's Ben Stiller as a mermaid. He's like, it's about like what like something is wet. What is the essence of beauty? Like something really, really dumb. If we can hold on, I have to find that what that actually is because now I want to remember what it is.
It's
'Cause
it's
that was
it's
actually funny.
it's cringe, as the
It's like
youngsters would
it's
say.
like something like wetness is the or moisture is the essence of wetness,
Much
and
as
wetness
wetness.
is the
Wetness
essence
is
of
the
beauty.
essence of beauty.
And
And he's just like kind of looking like at his father for like approval, and his father's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
you think your mom would have loved to see you dancing around with your genitals hanging out as some sort of mermaid? And he's like, merman,
A merman, not a
merman.
mermaid.
And so he storms off, and that's all it takes for him to want to get back into the modeling world. So he ends up at that point taking up Mugatu's offer, and he's going to go work for Mugatu. And
What's the campaign called?
well,
Chase?
we're getting there. So Mugatu has an offer for him. So when we get the first meeting between the two, and this scene I remember as a
So
kid,
fucking-
and it's so funny on the subtlety of what they do here. So at first, Mugatu's like, "Yeah, Derek, I'm glad you're here," and he's playing it up like he's trying to not this evil person, and it's obvious. And he's just like, "I'm so glad you are the forbidden fruit. Now I get to taste you. I couldn't have you before. Now I can." And he's
I
like,
must have you.
and then Will Ferrell's assistant comes in and hands him a latte. And he just starts drinking the latte, and he spits it all over his assistant, who is like covered in this latte. And he was like, "Do you want me to get farty and bloaty from a lukewarm latte, Todd?" And they start staring at each other, and they start having
And
this.
then he just starts going like, he goes,
And they start having this like
oh.
sexual like little tension between the two. And
I
then
laughed out loud in the gym when I was listening, and then I saw that. It's so good.
And then he immediately cuts back over to Derek. He's like, "Yeah, Derek, and I've got an offer for you. So you join me in my new campaign, and I'll make sure that you get your center. And come see me." And what's so funny is he gets up behind the desk, and it's maybe 10 feet away is where the model is, but Will Ferrell runs over to it. And the jog killed me in this. And this is where we get one of the famous lines in the movie. He's like, "Yeah, I present to you the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good and Want to Do Other Things Good as Well." And Derek like looks at the model, kind of stares at it, and then eventually he just throws it on the floor, and he's like, "What is this, a center for ants?" And he's like, "The building has to be
At least
three
bigger.
times bigger than this." And Mugatu just playing it off just goes, "He's right, you know." And so, but Derek accepts him. And then, Andrew, this is where we get him getting introduced to the campaign. What type of campaign has Mugatu got planned for Derek Zoolander?
It's called the derelict.
Let me show you derelict. It is a fashion, a way of life inspired by the very homeless, the vagrants, the crack whores that make this wonderful city so unique. Oh, that's great.
I don't remember the last time I'd heard the word crack whore.
Or
Crack whore.
vagabond and crack whore in the same sentence.
Vagrants, yeah. So
Oh,
good.
But, Andrew, describe what this fashion looks like for us.
it's trash, like garbage. You think about. I don't want to be rude, but like think of like what homeless people would wear, like the low of the low. People who live in the subway tunnels with their rats. This is what they're going for here. Very cutting edge.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to love it. And so,
Yeah.
and Derek accepts his offer, right? So now
Oh yeah.
he goes to, where does he go next? He goes to like this like warehouse where he
Spa day. Doesn't he go to the spa day? Doesn't he have a
Yeah,
spa day
he
first?
goes to
Yeah.
a spa day. He's with,
Is that Mila Jovovich?
Yes. I
yes,
think so.
yeah,
From,
yeah.
from
So
The
he
Fifth
goes with,
Element and also from Resident Evil.
yeah,
Sense.
a great actress, very stunning too. She's playing this really, I guess, German or Eastern European.
Russian.
Yeah, Russian.
Eastern European. I mean, she is Ukrainian, so yeah. of that
Slava
garb.
Ukraina.
Yeah, and
Yes,
she's
of course.
obviously it's really dramatized. It's kind of like Helga from Dodgeball, kind of like dramatized.
Very much so.
But she is leading the way on this campaign, so she's making sure no one gets to Derek and that he can focus. And she's taking him to the spa day. And I think at this point too, the Time magazine girl, I forgot her name.
Matilda Jeffries.
Matilda. So Matilda is kind of following Mugatu along, and she goes to Maury, and she finds out through Maury that Derek is working with Mugatu, and she's starting to kind of put the 2 and 2 together. So she goes to the warehouse to meet Derek, and she kind of
She gets a call.
yeah.
She call though. Remember, her and her assistant are digging up dirt on Mugatu, and she gets the call of all you see is a hand and some like glass ass. I don't know how better else to describe it. And he's like, "Make sure you unravel the sweater." What someone
He's like,
he says, "Unravel
the quote.
follow the thread and you'll find the sweater or something stupid like
Unravel
that.
the
She's
sweater.
like, you mean pull the
she's like,
thread?
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yeah, you're right, sweetheart."
She's like, you got that right, sweetheart, or something like that. And then that's how she knows she's talking to another model.
And then
and then the last thing he says is like, "Go to Pier 12 and you know what I'm talking about." And he hangs up.
And she breaks in while Zoolander's going through his whole warehouse day. And there's one point where he's getting a massage, and this line he gets a huge boner that moves on its own, like in a weird.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious.
You did.
Like the look on her face when she has the two. It was very Austin Powers, like the masseuse who has like the two like little wooden fucking, what are those, Andrew? Like little broomsticks or something. She's just like like she's about to do something. She's taken off guard, and he's like his wiener's like, and she's like, and then what's her face's look on her face is like, what the fuck is happening? And he's just so like incredulous, like what's going on? I just thought it was.
He's so nonchalant about it. Like there's nothing to behold here. What are you even talking about? You know, he just not even a care in the world and Derek.
But also like just the sheer size is half the length of his body.
Yeah, it's a foot long. Has to be. So,
more.
Good for him.
Subway special here. But moving along too. So she gets kicked out. He goes through this spa day, and what they're doing is they actually end up brainwashing him. This is the MK Ultra stuff that they're doing. So they're brainwashing him to ignore the celebrities and kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. That's what he gets. It's a little longer scene than that, but that's pretty much the gist of that. And then so now he's kind of been brainwashed. He ends up at his flat, and Matilda is there beating on the door, and he answers the door, and she's like, "Derek, I've been looking for you. You've been gone for a week." So he finds out he's been missing for a week, and they have this long kind of blowout conversation, but at the end, Derek fixes her hair and makes her more beautiful. That happened. What happens next, Andrew, after we get past this whole brainwashing? He's been missing for a week. What happens here?
Oh, gosh. I want to say that in that little brainwashing MK Ultra spiel, there's a song played that's called "Relax," and like, well, it's just important for later. I don't want to give everything away right now, but the song "Relax" is played over that whole brainwashing spiel. But after
the whole brainwashing spiel that we kind of glossed over. That's I thought that was one of the funnier parts of the whole like movie, where he's like Mugatu is like, he's brainwashing. He's like, it's all about child labor laws, and the way they frame all this, like, children are free to work when and where they will, just like the olden days.
What was the character that Mugatu took on? It was like
it was like
German girl named like Gretel. Like,
it was like a Pippi Longstocking kind of thing.
Yeah. I can find it in a second, and I can go back around on it.
Yeah,
but anyway, so I think this is where we get the walk off, right? Like Matilda's trying to talk some sense into him. He goes to a club, and Hansel's at this club, and this is where Winona Ryder has like probably one of the best cameos in this movie. She is like smitten and just like all over Derek Zoolander, and he kind of brushes her off.
Hold on, sweetheart, I gotta go pee. Hold that thought.
He brushes Winona Ryder off, and she's just dressed in this red, like, scantily clad outfit. I love Winona Ryder, but
it's great.
She.
I found all of it. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is going back to.
So the movie that they're playing for Derek to brainwash him, and it's almost all animated except for like Mugatu's head. It's like a fever dream acid trip. It starts off by saying, like, it's to your point, Andrew. He goes, just Just relax. Don't worry about anything at all. Just relax. And then relax, don't do it. Comes on, and it says, "Hey there, Derek. My name is Lil Cletus.
Well, Cletus, that's what it was.
I'm just a kid who wants you to know the truth about child labor laws. They're silly and outdated. In the good old days, kids as young as 5 could work as they pleased, from textile factories to iron smelts. Hooray! But today, the age-old right of children to work is under attack from the Philippines to Bangladesh and China and India and South America too. But you can help these children, Derek, by killing the Prime Minister of Malaysia.
This is so fucking funny.
It's so
on the
good.
nose. I fucking love it.
Oh
This is
god.
good shit. This is good shit.
Well,
I mean, of course, it means more coming from Will Ferrell too. It's so much funnier.
and he delivers it like flawlessly.
Perfectly.
So good.
So and now so we're back at the walk off. So he challenges Hansel. They get into it, and he challenges him to a walk off, and everyone's like, "A walk off."
What's the line that kind of starts it all? Like Hansel like hits him. He's like, "Watch it, brah." And Derek turns around. He's like, "I'm not your brah."
And
something like that. But then, like, they have this back and forth. They say some stupid shit. Billy Zane is there for Derek Zoolander's defense.
Like the most random person you could throw in there. But he was.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say he's a fashion model, so that kind of makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
But anyway, they have a walk off, and they go across the street or something to some factory, and they have like a big platform.
It's the old. He said it's the old men's warehouse. Yeah, in 10 minutes. Old members only warehouse.
Which is a great 80s reference there. And so
he said, no, he says 10 minutes. Old members only warehouse. You ought to remember that. You're a dinosaur.
So good. And so they end up at the warehouse, and they're having a walk off, which is emceed by David Bowie.
Fucking David Bowie.
And so they do this walk off, and there's a lot happening here, but they're treating it like a boxing match. Like, so one model does a walk, and the other model has to replicate, or what do you say? Replicate, or
they essentially just build on top of each other. They copy, then build. Is pretty much what it is.
And there's
it's stupid. Now this will be a straight walk off. Old school rules. First model walks, second model duplicates, then elaborates.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yep.
And so they go back and forth between this, and there's some funny scenes here. There's a scene where Owen Wilson's like, "I'm walking blind out there. I'm going to need you to cut me." And it's like a boxing match, and he cuts like a little piece of his hair, and he starts screaming. And then
they go to their little trainers in the corner like they do intermittent points of a boxing match, and you're giving them water, and they got like a little metal bucket for them to spit in.
Hansel ends up taking his underwear off without taking his pants off. And that's the winning move, because Zoolander can't do it, and ends up embarrassing himself, and Hansel wins the walk-off. And so, getting a little further along here, what happens next, Andrew, after the walk-off, after Zoolander's defeated?
I think before this, there was a moment of discovery with Matilda, where her assistant talked about, or brought up some information about how all of these models that worked with Mugatu like suddenly died before the age of 30 when they were done with their campaigns. And she's looking through these photos. There was like an orgy gone wrong, like suffocated by an orgy gone wrong. I don't remember what the other ones were, but in all of these photos, you saw, what's her name? Mugatu's assistant. And this is where like the light bulb went off for Matilda. She's like, oh my gosh, Derek's in trouble. And I think she was there for the walk-off. She tried to find him in the club, because she's trying to warn him, like, yo, you're in danger. You're gonna die. Yeah, they're gonna kill you when they're done with you. And I think after this walk-off is when Katinka, that's her name, and Mugatu's like henchmen like try to corner them, and they make some escape. Is that right? I think that's what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. And then they're in the car, and like he's like talking about how he can't turn left. She's like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like you who can't turn left. And then she gets a phone call from the same anonymous person from before. He says, "Meet me at St. Adonis Cemetery." and however many minutes. And she goes, wait, who are you? And he hangs up. So then they make their way over to the cemetery.
Yeah,
and
she takes Zoolander with her.
Yep. And they're at the cemetery now. And who who is this mysterious person that they meet, Chase?
It is David Duchovny.
David fucking Duchovny. Right during the midst of the X-Files. Just so like he plays the part really well of this. What would you call him, Andrew? He's like a washed up model.
He's a hand model.
He's a hand model specifically, but he's a washed up. He's also, he kind of gives off like, he's a dude that wears the tinfoil hats. Like he has gone down the rabbit hole very much.
So he like alludes, he gives them all like the whole thing. He's like, what you stumbled upon goes way deeper than you could ever fathom. The fatness in the fashion industry has been behind every political assassination over the last
200 years.
Yeah, he's like, and behind every hit, a card-carrying male model. And she says, okay, that's impossible. He's like, oh yeah? Listen and learn. What about Abe Lincoln? He wanted to abolish slavery, right? But who do you think made the powdered wigs and leg stockings worn by our country's early leaders? Mugatu. He's like, slaves, Derek.
Oh, slaves. Slaves, Derek.
Yeah.
Well, and what's so funny about this too is, so he does have his hand in a glass jar to preserve his hand, but
That's what I was referencing earlier. I said a glass cast.
Yeah,
that was why
he's preserving his
beautiful hands.
But there's a moment in this that's actually improv here. David Duchovny goes through the whole story, right?
It's so good.
And Zoolander's like, why male models? And that's when he does what Kyle just referenced, where he was like, from the dawn of time, all this other stuff. He goes through this long spiel for like 2 to 3 minutes. And Derek Zoolander goes, but why male models? This was not actually written in the script. Ben Stiller actually forgot his lines. And so all he did was just repeat, why male models? And David Duchovny ad-libs off of it because I guess Ben Stiller thought he was just going to redo the scene. But David Duchovny's like, are you serious, Derek?
He's like, are you serious? I just told you a moment ago.
David Duchovny was frustrated and actually delivered that line because Ben Stiller kept forgetting it. And so they were like, oh, this is perfect because it matches Derek's character. And so they kept it in. But it literally is Ben Stiller forgetting his line.
Kyle or Chase, what was the reasoning they took out JFK?
I'm gonna find it. Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
It was like a trade embargo with Cuba or Bay of Pigs invasion. It did something, I think. I could be wrong, but
hold on. Okay, hold on.
I'm holding.
I know. I'll go on. Dallas, Texas. Kennedy had just put a trade embargo on Cuba, ostensibly halting the shipment of Cuban-manufactured slacks. Incredibly popular item at the time. Lee Harvey Oswald was not a male model. You're goddamn right he wasn't. But those two lookers who capped Kennedy from the grassy knoll sure as shit were.
And hands with some like nicely dressed like 20-year-old men with like suave hair and like waist hair sunglasses and knit polos like dancing after they shot him.
What? And But why male models? So anyway,
there we go.
It's speeding along too. So
this is when they get chased by
some henchmen and
henchmen.
Yeah, and they get shot at and they run out, and David Duchovny's like laying there, and Derek like steps on his hand and breaks the cast on his hand. And he's like,
you mean to do it. It's like when he's like trying to leave, he just accidentally steps on it and shatters it. Just a dumb ass moment, you know?
Yeah. And so, and Matilda's like, hey, is there somewhere we can take you that no one will look for you? And they come up with the idea that they got to go to Hansel's place. And not trying to get stuck in the mud here because we need to speed along here. But they end up at Hansel's place, and this is where Derek and Hansel have a moment. Where Hansel's like, it was very intimidating for me because you're Derek Zoolander. Your Spring of '94 catalog, that made me want to be a model. So they just instantly become friends. And Hansel's like, you two are cool to crash here or whatever. And then they have a moment where they're drinking this like tea, but it's almost like peyote.
Hallucinogenic, like peyote tea, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're talking to Matilda. She comes out about why she hates models and that it made her having eating disorder, and they kind of laugh at her, and they're like, we throw up all the time. Like,
she said that she was the fat kid in middle school,
and Derek was
goes,
like, ew.
Ew. He was like so offended, like that she was something once, and he was like, ew. Really?
But
Yeah.
they all kind of have an understanding, and then they drink more of the tea, and then they just have an orgy. With
Hansel's like, let's get naked, and she's like, really? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And that's an orgy threesome. Well, and actually, it's not even a threesome. It's multiple people. It's multiple people.
There's plenty of people getting involved there. And then they wake up the next morning. Zoolander admits to Hansel that he has feelings for Matilda. And then they find out that the show is 2 hours from now, the derelict campaign show that the Prime Minister of Malaysia is coming to. So they know that he's brainwashed. They just don't know the word.
They don't know the trigger.
They don't know the trigger word, so they're trying to figure it out. So they somehow have time for Zoolander and Hansel to go to Mugatu's Mari Ballstein's office and try to hack his computer. So they show up,
there
and
are files in there that show his accomplice, who
and we get
show the whole shit.
And they say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use a makeup kit so we can be different people." And then they end up as like two different people. There's not blackface at the beginning part because it actually is a black actor and a Mexican actor.
There's no blackface at all, but
it's not. But it's insinuated. It's insinuated that they did.
Yes,
so,
but there's nothing that they actually did though.
And then they rub all this the makeup off, and you can see what I don't understand is, like, you could tell that Owen Wilson made a conscious effort to not be brown face because he has very little makeup, and it's just on his neck. It's not on his hands. It's not on his face. Ben Stiller has it all over his ears and hands and arms. So he's kind of like a little bit more like...
He looks like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins.
Yeah, you're towing the line there. But anyway, they're like messing with the computer, and they're dumb enough they don't know how to get the files out of it. And Zoolander's late for the show, so he has to leave. And she's like, Hansel, it's in the computer. And he's like, it's in the computer. And he looks at the computer, and something stupid's going to happen. So they end up at the show.
He literally thinks it's physically in the computer is essentially what it's implying there.
So they get to the show, and while they're at the show, the assistant that keeps hitting on Matilda brings her, what was it, cantaloupe with cottage cheese?
Cottage cheese in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
out in the middle.
And he's like, you just need to relax. And that's when it hits her. That's the trigger. So she starts running to the show. Well, while Zoolander is coming down on the aisle to walk down the aisle, they start playing Relax, and that triggers him. And he starts doing a lot of kung fu action, but taking his sweet time. And that's when we get a good line from Mugatu. He's like, just do it already. And like...
Also, we should note that the special guest of honor for that show is the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Can't forget that.
And he's sitting at the end of the walkway, like right at the end of the walkway. And so Zoolander's making his way there, and there's a point in time where Hansel comes down and knocks the DJ out and starts playing a different song. And Mugatu goes, that damn Hansel, he's so hot right now. And so, like,
he says it again.
He says it every time. And so he starts break dance fighting with the DJ. And the DJ sometimes would get the upper hand, sometimes Hansel. So the music comes back on, it turns off, it comes back on. And every time it turns on, Zoolander starts moving back towards the walkway. And there's one point where it stays on. And he does a backflip, gets behind the minister, and has his hands on his neck. He's about to snap his neck. And Hansel pulls the plug, and it stops playing altogether. And that's when security rushes, and they're like, Derek Zoolander just tried to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. And they start, like, pulling him away. And then what happens now, Andrew, now that he's been captured by security?
I think this is when Hansel, like, screams out. He's like, no, it's a ruse. You all don't know. This is a master plan started by Mugatu. And he's like, I have the evidence right here. And he holds up the old 2001 orange
Mac,
Apple computer Mac. And he's like, I'm going to show you. And he just he throws the computer over the balcony and it just shatters down below. And Mugatu's like, oh, he starts to snicker. He's like, oh, well, you fucking idiot. No evidence now.
And
And I believe Christine Taylor's character, like, hard eye roll. She's like, oh, great. Now our plan is spoiled. But I believe at this point, that's when Maury Ballstein, like, speaks up. Someone take it away here because I'm messing up
yeah,
the
so
in between. But
Mugatu's corner, and he talks about like Derek Zoolander being an idiot, and he's like being confronted, and Maury Ballstein steps up and like, what does he say? Like a floppy disk or a disk drive that's got all the information. I can have it over here in 20 minutes.
Trust, he's like, I can have it from Long Island in 20 minutes if I want to. That was the exact line.
Yeah, and so he's talking to his wife. He's like, just bring it, Sheila. I don't care what traffic looks like. I'll eat dinner when I get home. It's a casserole, Sheila. It'll keep. And he's yelling on the phone, and everyone's just kind of getting bored. Mugatu is, now getting offended and backed into a corner. And then there's one point where his assistant shows up, and she tries to shoot the Prime Minister of Malaysia. And that's when Hansel's like, no, not today, bitch, and uses his yo-yo.
From the balcony
to like knock the gun out of her hands, which in that turn, that's when Christine Taylor corners her. And basically Mugatu goes to prison. Maury saves the day. And that's kind of wrapping it up pretty quickly. Zoolander's now a hero. And we cut next to the Derek Zoolander Center for kids who can't read good and want to do other things good too.
Good things good too.
And so Zoolander, this is like a year or so later, and he's like introducing it like on this infomercial and talking about the center itself. And he's walking around. Hansel's taking these kids to go base jumping. These like 6-7-year-olds to go base jumping
off the George Washington Bridge, I think is what it was.
It's a very dangerous spot. We didn't even say this part, but in the battle that goes back and forth, someone fires a gun at, like, I think it's Mugatu. He throws his Mugatu dagger, to try to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia in one last gas. A ninja star. Ninja star.
Like
and he throws the ninja star, and Derek Zoolander steps in the way and says, "One look," because Mugatu says, "He only has one look, everybody. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills." That sparks Derek Zoolander to show us Magnum. And so he steps in the way, and the dagger just falls to the floor. And this was a line I quoted a lot, because Mugatu just looks at it and goes, "Dear God, it's beautiful." And everyone's just like blown away by Magnum. And that's really what saves the day. And then we get the center for kids who can't read good and want to do other things good too. And Matilda shows up with Derek's son. He flashes the Magnum look, and he's like, "Hey, the next male model." And as they're walking off, and before we get credits, we see a big statue of his friends, and they're holding up gasoline hoses, and they're spraying water in the air. It's a giant fountain. But that about wraps up. That wraps up Zoolander. Andrew, I want to start with you. You've never seen it before. Give us your opinion on Zoolander.
Clearly, I thought it was funny. I mean, there are moments in this episode just discussing things where I laughed out loud. I did the same while watching it. And I expected that, just looking at the cast, knowing the style of comedy. I wouldn't say I had high expectations, just because I know that watching older movies for the first time can be a little misguided, if you will. It's stupid. It's absolutely absurd. And it's not like it's some creative, artistic masterpiece in terms of the plot they created and the story. But what do you expect for a movie of that era, of that genre? It was funny. I actually thought that there would be less moments that I laughed as hard as I did. So I was surprised at that. I was pretty impressed with how much I laughed. Overall, Chase, I liked it, and I am impressed with how much it hit me in a good way.
Cool.
I didn't think it was going to be that forceful. It was. Yeah. I went back and I never watched Wayne's World. I watched it like 5 years ago for the first time, and I didn't care for it. I was like, this doesn't hit. This doesn't hit. This was very different. This did hit, and yeah. It was worth the
And
time.
I'm glad you brought that up, because those are two different, like, kind of. I mean, Zoolander is not an SNL movie, but it's an SNL type of movie. But Wayne's World is an SNL movie. that's
For sure.
And so it's
For
like,
sure.
and not all of them hit anymore, and some of them live in that time period, like Night at the Roxbury. I haven't seen that one in a long time, but I'm sure that's kind of be a similar style movie where it's a 50-50 if you really laugh at it now, or if it's just.
It's also Chris Kattan, and he's not very funny. But anyways,
he was great in Monkey Bone.
oh, good.
You didn't get to do Monkey Bone, but Chris could.
He saved the movie.
He saved the entire movie.
Good for him.
Andrew, I say watch that movie at some point. Just so, because the Chris Kattan performance in Monkey Bone is everything you find hilarious and would love. You would love it.
You know who hated Chris Kattan? We're going off on a segue here. Who hated Chris Kattan and thought he was unfunny as hell? Was Norm Macdonald.
Chris Farley.
Norm Macdonald
really?
absolutely despised him. I think that probably stems back to SNL beef, but he did not find Chris Kattan funny. And I kind of look at Norm as kind of comedy Bible in a lot of ways. And I don't necessarily run with all of his opinions.
It's just different comedy. It's just different. Like Chris Kattan is very slapstick. Yeah, yes. And so it's just different comedy. I think they both can exist and be funny. But Kyle, what about you? You saw this as a kid. What did you think about it as an adult?
It's just much funnier as an adult. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it other than they chose their moments to be somewhat clever with, but it's not a clever movie. It's just a funny movie, and it's not pretending to be anything else than what it is. And I do think that there were a couple points in the movie, like with the brainwashing scene and the whole impetus behind needing to assassinate the prime minister, that I thought was just very funny, because we laugh at that kind of shit's fucking true. Like, people have done less to get murdered by a special interest group or a government than to dismiss child labor laws and shit. And the whole brainwashing scene, I just thought it was fucking hilarious. Kids were free to work whenever they wanted to. No, they weren't. They were forced under pressure of death and starvation to work, which I just thought was fucking hilarious. And then them trying to get into the computer, that was a pivotal scene as a kid that I did not understand, because I was an idiot child. And I was like, what do you mean the files are on the computer? Of course the files are on the computer. What's so funny? And now I'm like, oh, they were so fucking stupid that they had no idea how to get into the computer. And they also thought that there were actual paper files in the computer that they had to get out of the computer. And they still couldn't figure it out. And then also realizing that it was a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey was brilliant.
Yeah, I didn't get that as a kid either. I got it this time around, but I was like, I did not pick up on that.
Not at all. And it was just so funny how they decided to go with that. And it's like, yeah, they're trying to get into something just like the apes were, or the early primates were, but they had no idea how to get into it because it was above their level of comprehension. And whereas Child's like, you're really throwing everybody who's in the modeling industry under that bus, which is just very funny. And I love that, because I just the whole movie is like playing on how absurd it is that you're like being professionally good looking is a career path, and it's not. It's just luck. It's just funny. So I thought it was funnier as an adult than it was as a kid by far.
I agree.
I think if I watched it when I was younger, I probably would have missed some of that stuff, as Kyle was alluding to, because it isn't some hyper intelligent movie or story, but it is incredibly clever with how they've written it. And I think 12-year-old, 10-year-old me would have been just as dumb as Hansel or, Derek, and would have missed so much of that shit. Not that I am, light years better now, but, you're older and wiser, and I'm kind of glad I watched it at an older age.
Yeah, I as someone who watched this movie a lot as a kid and quoted it as a lot, it's still funny. It's still like the quotes that made me laugh then make me laugh now. Like I said, I have a little bit more insight now as a kid, as an adult, where I can see the political leanings and some of the tongue-in-cheek moments and pick up on some of the references. It's not the perfect comedy. I'm not going to sit there and say it's like I was like rolling on the floor, hitting my head on stuff, but I still laughed more than I did in a lot of the other movies that we've watched on this show. So it definitely was it was something that I enjoyed watching, and I was glad that I was kind of glad that I liked it as an adult because it was something that held a lot to me as a kid or at least a teenager that me and my friends quoted. So it's good to see that, hey, the nostalgia's there. But Andrew, does it hold up?
I think so. Yeah, I would. If I said no, I feel like I'd have egg on my face after how much we gassed this movie up from the beginning of the blow by blow through the end. Yeah, it absolutely holds up. Do I think it's, like you said, the greatest comedy ever? No. There's probably 6, 7, 8 comedies of that era that I would put well ahead of this one. But it still did its job. Still made me laugh. It was entertaining. And at the end of the day, if a show or a movie does that, then it's done its job, and it holds up. It's a success. So yeah, it holds up for sure.
Kyle, what about you?
1,000% yes. This is a silly, fun movie that is not pretending anything more than it is. Rewatch value is high. It's There's a lot of cameos in it. The funny bits that you get from Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, and from Will Ferrell, even though he's not in it terribly much, are just funny. This isn't one that I'd put on repeat to watch yearly. Maybe every couple of years I'll break it out because I'll forget parts of it, and it'll make me laugh.
I agree. It definitely holds up. I also want to add to like I did have fun watching this. I think this is something you watch with a group of friends that have seen it before and everybody quotes
Yes.
it. This is kind of a crack open a beer and watch this with some friends late night on the couch, have some pizza. Like I feel like this is a perfect movie for that. It's not something I'm going to just watch on my own, but if I have friends over and we throw this on, I think it'd be a good time. So I definitely think it holds up, though. It's one that we can always just enjoy. But Andrew, what would you give it on the IMDb rating?
I've been pretty consistent with how I rank these. Like I said, not the greatest plots, not some work of art, but I'd probably give like a 6.4 or something like that. I think that's pretty fair, all things considered. 6.4.
I was going to say 6.5. Kyle, what are you going to say?
I was going to say 6.3. It's very funny, and I just don't think I don't think it's going to be like a comedy rewatch like the other guys. Or
It's
like
dodgeball
Step Brothers.
or
No,
with the
no, no,
parents,
no.
old school. It's not quite at
But
that
it's
level.
still
funny.
like
Still
it's still
funny.
passing grade funny that I would
Yeah.
recommend to somebody if you hadn't watched it or wanted to watch it after watching it in a while, would definitely push you for it. And I think anywhere in the mid to high sixes is okay. For me, the 6.3 is more so there's just some antiquated parts of it that don't really kind of, they're not as funny, I don't think, but gun to my head, I think the most I can do is like a 6.4.
Andrew, do we know what it is on IMDb?
We were like right on the money. It's 6.5 exactly.
Perfect.
So,
Wow.
We're right
IMDb
there.
Actually, I believe, really got this one.
Yeah,
correct.
it's
They
right.
got it right.
Yeah,
Go
we're
Bucks.
all. I said 6.5. You said 6.4.
6.4.
Kyle said 6.3, and then went to 6.5.
Maybe 6.4.
Yeah, it's all in the same realm, but you should probably go out there and watch it yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a perfect comedy to go back and check out, especially if you have friends or any nostalgia about this. It's going to be funny. It doesn't happen very often with a lot of comedies from that era. A lot of them just fall flat. This one doesn't. So you know what we do around here. We reach into your childhood nostalgia, pull the movies from your past. Today we pulled out Zoolander and found out it holds up. Go watch it. Go have a good time with it. Andrew, it's the World Cup, isn't it?
It is.
You've been enjoying it, right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite sporting events out there. I lose track of time as much as I can manage, but I try to watch as many games as I can because it's the best.
Love it. Love the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I think we should take a break from summer blockbusters, don't you, and do a soccer movie?
Yeah.
Or football. Should we say football for our international friends?
Football.
Yeah.
Football,
Spell it, Andrew. Spell football.
FUTBOL.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hell yeah, Andrew. He's very cultured out there. But we're going to do The Big Green. And some of you may not even know what we're even talking about when we say that, but this is a blast from the past if you're a 90s kid.
Patrick Renna classic, baby.
Very classic. We'll find out if that holds up. We'll find out if it's even any good. I don't remember. I don't think I've seen that movie since I was 6. So this is going to be
It's before 10 for
this
sure.
is going to be a time. But in the meantime, you can follow us on social media to see what else is coming down the road. Keep up with Hold Up. We do have some news with a Patreon coming your way. We'll release that on next week's episode. In the meantime, we'll see you all next week for The Big Green.